everybody else is good, since we're only 15 minutes into the meeting, that was great. The Financial and Operations Committee, 7.01 is our, I'm going to ask Aaron to kind of help me out here a little bit since Mr. Belfrat's not here. Student activities account for 2016 in June. 702 is a sale of a parcel from the repository of unsold properties. 703 is a letter of agreement for Title I services with Northwest Tri-County Intermediate Unit. 704 is a letter of agreement for child nutrition programs.
Thank you.
705 is a list of McDowell Club officers and advisors. 706 is an agreement to continue forward with the publication in community magazines. And I just want to put a footnote in there. And I had said something probably 4 years ago when we had a PR gal that was full-time with us, is in their agreement it says that this is distributed to all taxpayers in Mill Creek Township. And where I live on Cherry Street, across the street from me is the city of Erie, but I'm in Mill Creek and I don't get it. And it's funny because I get stuff from the city, I get stuff from Joe Senate. And I had said, well, can they just not send me my tax bill for Mill Creek? I'd be thrilled, you know, because they don't send me this. But I had asked Erica to give them my address so that I could get it. But it does say they publish 100 extra copies, so I've oftentimes grabbed one here. But they've got a mailing list that isn't quite accurate. I'm sure it's 99% accurate.
I have a contact over there. I'll make sure you're on the list.
Okay. I think it's a good magazine. I think it's an economical way for us to get our word out. It's less expensive than us trying to do our own publication. You know, I think it's a good magazine. It looks good, and I think it's a good thing. Anybody else have any thoughts one way or the other on the magazine? I think we should continue with it.
I would agree. Is that what it said? We have 4 pages every 3 times a year? 2 pages.
And we traditionally buy additionals. You know,
And then we have the option.
yeah, it gives us the pricing. But it looked like for as many people as are in the circulation and stuff, it all looked, you know, very beneficial. 707 is a letter of agreement for Title I services with the Fort Love School District. 708 is our accounts payable report for 2016 of July. 709 is our capital projects for July 2016. 710 is a facility use for the Erie Contemporary Ballet. And 711 is a facility use for the Erie Dance Conservatory. I looked at both of those, and each of them are paying in excess of $3,000, so we're paying pretty much market rate. We're not, occasionally we're asked to allow people to use the facilities for free, and this isn't the case with all of these two. So, any questions on any of these at all? I would ask Aaron to help out if there was any questions.
Yes, Mr. Kalupa. On the accounts payable,
Yes.
I have some questions on some of the checks that were written and some identification as to the description of the purchase. As I questioned previously, here's a check number 4897 to Knox McLaughlin, the Knox Law Firm, General Matters, and under the description of purchase, it states Aliota, right to know matters, $8,192.10. We would like to have a backup material and all correspondence, whether it's emails, any correspondence between the district and the Knox Law Firm or Attorney Walker. In addition, and again, I've asked this question before, on cell phones, a long distance Earthlink business, that's check 4892, $3,328.64. That's in addition to the cell phones?
Correct.
That's a long distance service, right?
Correct.
Lou, I've always kind of questioned that one because in the day of, like, the majority of our phone lines in the district are voice over IP. We've been trying to convert all of them. I'm not sure how many we have left that are not VoIP. that are just traditional POTS lines, but very few. And I question also, that's kind of an old legacy type of a payment to pay $3,000 a month for long distance, because there's not that many long distance calls made. And I at one point said, you know, we've got so many people with cell phones, why don't you make the long distance calls on those? Because long distance is free on cell phones unless you're calling, you know, Timbuktu. So I would agree with Lou on that one, Aaron. We should just check a little bit more and see what, because that's a pretty big amount. That's $36,000 a year in long distance. And like in the summer, there's not very many people around and such. So I would just ask if we could look a little further into that one, because that's exorbitantly high for long distance. As I said, when you're using voice over IP, you're buying data and you don't pay for long distance. So I think that's probably an old contract that's just automatically kind of been renewed, because 10 years ago that would be about the norm to pay that kind of money for long distance, and it isn't anymore. Would you be in consensus with that one?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that
I would like to see the contract too. I think the board directors have a right to see contracts. The cell phone contracts, say, what is it, on an annual basis, 3-year basis?
I'd have to go back and confirm.
And also the long-distance contract. When you look at $3,000 here, $8,000 that I have been laying charge for right to knows, I'm still having difficulty, Mr. President, as to the transparency from the district. And
Would you explain that?
yeah, I'm having, when I ask for a document,
The board docs has the contracts on it. Did you look on board docs for the contract?
no, I did not.
Okay.
So all contracts are on board docs. Okay. Let me review it.
Okay.
In the past, or within the past 7-8 months, you've sent us contracts that are being renewed, correct?
Correct.
Right? So this would be one that's going to be renewed? Will it?
Depending on the terms of the last contract, yeah, you don't, we'd have to find out.
Don't we ordinarily bring the contracts through the committees?
Yes, we do. All
That's
contracts.
how we bring contracts through the committee, as they're up for renewal.
It may not be every year, it could be, you know, who knows.
Yes,
Now,
they should.
but for phones, like we were talking about the other thing, I don't know, I think there's necessarily a contract. I mean, if you think about your personal.
I
know
think
that's
it's
awesome.
more than just long distance, but I don't want to speak out of turn, because I don't recall exactly off the top of my head, because I did have an answer for it the last time, and I don't recall what it was, but it is more than just long distance. Long distance is probably just part of the package that we're purchasing, so I'll look at Earthlink specifically for the board meeting to have an answer.
That'd be awesome, because if it's 300 for the long distance, that would be very acceptable, you know what I mean? And then on the cell phone thing, we did get a list, and I appreciate it, that gave us the amount of phones and who they were assigned to, and it was off a bit because of some employees leaving and such, but as a general rule, it told us where our phones were, and I think that was pretty detailed. And Aaron, you and I have spoke. I'm concerned about an agreement that goes back about 2 years with the Mill Creek Water Authority. They are putting stuff, you know, and they did. And my only question is, you said we got a check or something, but
We've received, each quarter we've received, again, I think it's a $4,600 check.
Oh, okay.
Each
And if we
quarter
received it?
I've confirmed that we
A handful of
have
times?
received the check every quarter.
Wow, okay, because it was gonna be around $1,500 a month, so that would be right on, and that would basically pay for half of our cell phones. Lou, that was a deal where we own the property at Grandview, they own the water tower, and they wanted to put an antenna on the top for cellular. They've got police communications up there that we don't have any problem with them using, we don't charge them a penny. But when they wanted to bring in cellular, they were just like, hey, just wanna let you guys know we're gonna do this. And then I said, well, that's great, but split the profit with us, and they begrudgingly agreed to do that. So that, you know, kind of erases about half of our cell phone bill a month. And I just wanted to make sure we're getting that, and that we'll continue to get it now that the City of Erie Water has it.